is Valley News Live at 4.
We begin this afternoon with breaking news. After a nearly month-long investigation, a West Fargo teacher has been charged with luring a minor for sex online. Ron Thompson resigned from West Fargo Public Schools on February 2nd after police served a search warrant on his home and at work. Police say evidence seized in the searches shows explicit conversations between Thompson and a 14-year-old girl who was actually an undercover officer. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley joins us live now in the studio with the details of Thompson's case. Bailey.
Stacy, court documents filed today say West Fargo detectives received a tip about Thompson on January 28th from a Florida detective. The detective told West Fargo officers that he was posing as a 14-year-old girl and chatting on a website called eChat. Documents say even though Thompson was made aware of the girl's age, he still turned the conversation into a sexual one, talking about having oral sex with the teen as well as described in detail how he would have sex with her. Documents say when Thompson was interviewed at West Fargo High School in early February, he admitted to chatting online with multiple females under the age of 18. However, Thompson denied ever having any physical contact with anyone that he has ever chatted with and also denied having any inappropriate contact or chats with anyone here locally. Stacy.
Thanks, Bailey. Most recent jail records show Thompson has not yet been booked. Coming up tonight on Valley News Live at 5 and 6, here from West Fargo Police on why the details of this investigation took so long and what West Fargo schools have to say about yet another educator finding themselves in trouble with the law. Here's a look at today's top 4 at 4. 30 people are now under federal investigation for drug trafficking on North Dakota reservations. North Dakota U.S. Attorney Drew Wrigley says the investigation into the Rube gang started last summer. It focused on opioid dealers based out of Detroit. Wrigley says the suspects targeted low-level dealers across Indian country. He says the gang is responsible for a very significant proportion of opioids brought into the state in the past 4 years. Authorities in Alexandria are asking for your help locating a runaway teen. Police say 16-year-old Ashton Kirk left home on Saturday. He was last seen wearing a black hooded jacket, a black vest, blue jeans, and tan-colored cowboy boots. If you know where he is, you're asked to call police at the number on your screen, 320-763-6631. The icy conditions from last night's snow are still causing issues for drivers. A 15-year-old boy has been arrested and a woman is hurt after a wild crash in Otter Tail County this morning. The Minnesota State Patrol says it happened around 8:30 on I-94 near Fergus Falls. They say it started when one vehicle crashed along the interstate and the driver got out to check on the damage. While she was out of the vehicle, another car driven by a 15-year-old came along and not only hit her, but crashed into 2 other vehicles. The teen ran off along some train tracks before police arrested him. The woman hid outside her car was seriously hurt. A 16-year-old is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries after a crash in Grand Forks. Officers responded to the single vehicle crash on the 1500 block of Ryder Road just after noon today. They say the teen driver lost control and hit a tree. He or she was taken to Altru with life-threatening injuries. The incident is still under investigation. Police ask that you check your security cameras for video of the crash if you live nearby. That wraps up today's top 4 at 4. Here's a first look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Stacy, thanks so much and happy Wednesday, everyone. Our snowfall totals across the region generally around 2 inches here in Grand Forks and the Fargo-Moorhead area. And we had a lot of places here in the Southern Valley and Lakes country in west central Minnesota with lower snowfall amounts. The big winners in the Devil's Lake Basin, over 7 inches in Devil's Lake. Harlow, 6.5 inches. Sharon was at that same reading. A lot of locations out in northwest Minnesota with 4-inch readings. Larimore with almost 6 inches. A few more between 2 and 4 inches from Hallstatt through West Fargo and also out near Park Rapids. But all in all, things a little quieter for most today as we look at cloudy skies. Snow showers pushing through Grand Forks right now into Red Lake Falls and Thief River Falls showing up on the radar. As we head into the evening, we have 20s north and look at Aberdeen, 40s down to the south. Our temperatures here in Fargo tonight will hover into the mid-20s. By the time we head to bed tonight, it'll be a little bit breezy from the northwest. Grand Forks, a little more snow to your west. You'll be cooler out there in the Devil's Lake Basin, but 21 by bedtime in Grand Forks. Your hour-by-hour forecast as we warm up late this week here in just a few moments.
It's already spring down in Aberdeen.
I think so,
temperatures the
yeah.
past couple days.
They're in the pool.
All right. Thanks, Hutch.
Yep.
Another coronavirus vaccine is on the way. An FDA report released this morning says Johnson & Johnson's COVID vaccine is safe and effective. The endorsement comes 2 days before the agency's vaccine advisory panel meets to vote on emergency use authorization. They say it was 85% effective in preventing severe disease. There were no reports of severe allergic reactions to the vaccine. The most common side effects were arm pain, headache, and fatigue. Johnson & Johnson's vaccine is also the only shot that can be stored at normal fridge temperatures. The company has said it will be able to provide 20 million doses by the end of March and an additional 100 million over the summer. Pfizer and Moderna say they're ramping up production of their vaccines, and Clay County Public Health says they're seeing an increase in doses. This week, Clay County received 1,300 first and second vaccination doses. That's a huge increase from the 200 first doses and 900 second doses received last week. So far in Clay County, close to 8,000 patients have received the first dose and close to 4,000 for the second. Severe winter weather devastated much of the country last week, which slowed down vaccine distribution. Clay County health officials say they felt the impact.
We did have a delay and had to cancel 100 people last Friday. We wrote it out till Friday, but didn't end up with our vaccine due to the weather delays last week. So we had to reschedule them. So it's a little heavier for us this week.
Health officials say there can be side effects from the second dose, but they want to stress they aren't serious. For the first day after getting the shot, they say you could feel flu-like symptoms like headaches, fevers, and body aches. Health officials recommend taking Tylenol to help. In Minnesota, people 65 years and older are eligible to receive the vaccine, but whether they actually get the shot has a lot to do with where they live. In some rural counties, older residents are more than twice as likely to have gotten at least their first dose than if they live in most parts of the Twin Cities metro. Many of the places in Minnesota with the highest vaccination rates for seniors are in rural areas that have multiple streams of the vaccine. Here's an easy way for you to stay on top of the latest COVID vaccine-related information. Just use our VNL vaccine tracker. Visit our website or simply open up your phone's camera and point it at the QR code on your screen, then tap the link that pops up. Minnesota health officials are launching a youth testing campaign. They're recommending kids returning to school, sports, or other extracurricular activities get tested every 2 weeks until the end of the school year. The health department will be providing a range of online resources for schools and youth organizations so they can send it to families to encourage testing. The push to legalize marijuana for recreational use is gaining traction at the Minnesota Capitol. There's one group of Minnesotans who say they'd especially benefit: veterans. Jennifer Mayerly has our story.
Legalizing recreational marijuana in Minnesota is a hot-button topic at the Capitol. For some veterans, they say it could be life-changing.
Daily, I deal with excruciating back pain.
Alex Miller was a combat medic in the National Guard.
I pushed through every ounce of pain to the point where I was breaking myself.
He testified marijuana was the one thing that paused his pain.
I decided to try it, even though I was in the military at the time, and I was up and walking around the next day. The pain wasn't gone, but it helped.
He's now considering moving to Colorado,
458.
where recreational marijuana use is legal. Jeremy Moen says he was removed from enlistment due to marijuana use and says he needs it to get through some days.
I usually always have a little bit of cannabis with me and one puff, and I can go about whatever I'm doing. It gives my brain enough time to shut up, shut off, and go do what I can do.
PTSD and some types of pain is part of the state's medical marijuana program, but veterans and supporters argue it needs to be more accessible and affordable.
This is a quality of life issue for veterans.
But not everyone agreed.
We all want to help veterans, but marijuana legalization and commercial sale may actually do more harm than help.
Still, House lawmakers voted in favor of moving forward 7-5. So for now, the issue will continue to be debated. Jennifer Mayerly, WCCO 4 News.
If you live in West Fargo, you could win $1,000 to spend at your favorite local business. The city says it's giving away the money as part of their Love Your Local campaign, the same one where residents were given $25 gift cards to spend at local businesses. You can enter the drawing by taking a photo of your favorite West Fargo business and tagging the city on either Facebook or Twitter. Make sure to include the hashtag LoveYourLocalWF. You can find more ways to enter on your VNL News app. Just click on this story. This weekend, Gray Media, which owns Valley News Live, is partnering with the Grand Ole Opry to help bring in donations to Feeding America to help those who have been affected by various disasters. Chris Jansen, Travis Tritt, and Haley Witters are some of the artists that'll appear. The show will air live this Saturday on KVLY and KXJB at 8 p.m. And tomorrow is the big day. Valley News Live is teaming up with Make-A-Wish for their Miles for Smiles campaign. We'll tell you how you can donate your unused Delta or United Airline miles to send local Wish kids and their families on the trip of a lifetime. Tonight on Valley News Live at 9 and 10, 15-year-old Haley from Rugby opens up about her medical journey and her trip to the Bahamas. Tiger Woods out of surgery this afternoon and recovering after a serious crash near Los Angeles. We'll have the latest right after the break.
And it was a slip-sliding morning here in the valley after that wet snow. It was crunchy this morning after it froze on area streets and cars, but the sunshine is going to work. Your late week forecast includes warmer temperatures than we got to today. We'll have hour-by-hour details coming up. Join me. Weather is next.